At the age of 38, I finally developed and patented a force belt neck for children with smartphone necks. Then, manager Sudo of LM, who had placed an order worth 3 billion yen, suddenly said, "Cancel everything." Even though 3 billion yen worth of products had already been completed and all that was left to do was deliver them. If that meant 3 billion yen was cancelled, he would definitely not pay. In the end, the 3 billion yen worth of cancelled products were shipped to our own factory. The cost of materials for the products, labor costs, and other huge costs were wasted. Because of me, I caused a lot of trouble for the company. While I was racking my brains in the office, my smartphone rang. It was my best friend Na, who works in America. I'm embarrassed to tell you that the 3 billion yen order was gone. Sorry. In fact, my 20 billion yen best friend was an unexpected savior. I'm Tatsuya Sato, 38 years old. I'm an ordinary office worker like any other. I have a wife who is the same age as me, and a daughter, May, who is in the first year of junior high school. Lately, Mai has been interested in makeup and fashion. She goes out with her best friend Tsugi-chan every weekend. My family is someone I love and would protect even at the cost of my life. However, in reality, Mai and I are not related by blood. My wife and I had been trying to conceive, but after difficulty, we decided to welcome Mai into our family based on her appearance. My parents and relatives said a lot of harsh things to me. May was 8 years old at the time, so she knew it was all about her appearance from the moment she came to live with us. May has never shown any rebellious behavior and is always kind to me, even though this is the hardest part. When May became my family, I was working at the post office. My salary was more than enough to support a child, but in recent years, fewer people have been using mailboxes in the post office, and the post office has become unpopular. My winter bonus had disappeared, and my salary had also been reduced, leaving me in a difficult situation. At that time, I visited Wonderful Kids, a children's goods manufacturer, on a career field trip at my previous elementary school. Since it was a parent-child trip, I went instead of my busy wife. It was a company that develops educational robots and groundbreaking household items for children using the latest technology. Mai, who doesn't usually show much interest in things, was unusually enthusiastic about the tour. 6 months later, I changed jobs to Wonderful Kids. The salary was better than at the post office, and I was filled with the desire to try something new. The development department has meetings every day. Everyone comes up with ideas one after another, to the point where you wonder when they're even thinking. Up until now, I hadn't done routine work like sorting mail or checking mailboxes. I hated my rigid mind. A year after joining the company, I finally succeeded in developing a product. It's called Neck. It's a force belt for children with smartphone necks. Recently, the news has been reporting that children who have smartphones and tablets at an early age are developing smartphone necks. That's when I came up with the idea for this product. Neck was patented by me personally. That's because patents for Wonderful Kids products are granted individually to the person who develops them. President Katayama always tells his employees to become independent. Work with the goal of starting your own business. Improve your skills not just for the company, but for yourself, and make full use of the know-how you gain at the company. I respect President Katayama for that. That's why I was so happy when President Katayama personally congratulated me when I obtained the patent. I'm still inexperienced and far from being independent. I'm also scared of losing my stable monthly salary while having to support my family. Neck gained popularity through crowdfunding and became a hot topic. We received many positive responses from pediatricians and osteotomists. One day, we received a request from LM, a company that handles teaching materials for elementary school students, to do business with us. Since we also use it at I No Harajuku, we immediately agreed, as it seemed like real gold. On the day of the meeting, when we arrived at LM, we were greeted by the department manager, Kazu Sudo. You made a meaningful remark about the rumored Sato. Nice to meet you. What are the rumors? Department manager Sudo snorted and sat down. Our president said he was interested, so we contacted him, but does the forced belt really work? He doubted the product as if the polite email we sent when we made the request was a lie. It does work. Here are the results of a one-year experiment in which 200 children tried it. I showed him the materials and explained. Then, I suddenly noticed a wedding ring on department manager Fuji's left ring finger, so I asked him if he had any children, and department manager Sudo replied, "No, I don't, but it's not good to ask questions like that these days." I'm sorry. It seems I asked a rude question. 30,000 yen each. I'll order 3 billion yen worth for now. Oh, LM has stores and cram schools all over the country, so they'll stock them there. I'm very grateful for the big contract. And since we have to produce the product in a short period of time, they said I could use part of LM's investment. I'll do that much because it's the president's request. When the meeting was over and I was about to say goodbye, manager Sudo spoke up. I hate hypocrites like you. Oh, you said in the TV article that you're doing it for the children of Japan and your own daughter, but you're just pretending to be a good person. His words made my heart ache. I didn't mean it that way. Is that how you see me? Make sure you meet the delivery deadline. Then I have another meeting, so go home early. Manager Sudo suddenly showed his business aura again, and I was scared. I called my best friend, Nagi Shimizu. Nagi has succeeded in developing tablets for business use and is expanding his business in the United States. I've known him since we were students, but Nagi achieved great success in his early 20s and had become a distant figure. In fact, he won an award for 3 billion yen. We did it. I knew we would definitely succeed from the moment I saw the crowdfunding campaign. Unlike Nagi, I have lived an ordinary life. That's why I didn't talk about myself when we called, and I had lost the confidence to listen to Na's work stories. But I'm glad I finally have something to brag about. Nagi told me that he wanted to do business with me someday. It's probably a dream within a dream, but it really boosted my motivation for work. After that, I visited LM's Mukaiba and gave a lecture to the staff and did some inspection work. One day during the day, I had an appointment with manager Sudo, but when the time came, there was no call. When I called LM's office, all I was told was that he was not in. That night after work, manager Sudo suddenly called me and said, "I'm sorry, I forgot." It was a big project worth 3 billion yen to me, but I felt sad that it didn't matter to manager Todo. We had reached the halfway point in the production of the neck. Manager Pseudo suddenly showed up at the factory and invited me to lunch. While having lunch, I asked Manager Pseudo, who still seemed half godly about the product, do we really need something like a neck, since we've grown up normally without it? Yes. Nowadays, more and more children from elementary school have smartphones, and although I explained it enthusiastically, it didn't seem to resonate with Manager Pseudo. I talked about the dangers of smartphone neck, but he laughed and said, I don't get it. He said he didn't have any children, so maybe it can't be helped. If we make this many and they don't sell, it's Sato's fault. I wonder how we can get people like Pseudo to see how appealing they are. I want to finish this project quickly. This is the first time I've been told this since developing the neck. I was prepared for people to criticize the product if it became popular. But it hurts more than I imagined when a business partner says it. That night, while I was thinking about how to get Manager Pseudo to like the neck, my daughter May suggested that we hold an event. Even if the manager doesn't understand the appeal, he'll probably understand if he sees the faces of parents and children who are happy when they actually use it. I see. Manager Pseudo has never actually seen it used. So he doubts whether it's effective. But since people won't come if we just have the product alone, I was surprised by her amazing planning skills when we invited guests to do a live performance or talk show, which is something you wouldn't expect from a first-year middle schooler. As expected of my daughter. It seems that I saves events she wants to go to on SNS, and she gave me a lot of information. Mai usually goes out with her friends on the weekends or watches TV at home, but that weekend she invited me to several events. I was inspired by the places where young people gather. Okay, I'll propose it to Manager Pseudo next time I see him. 2 weeks later. No matter how many times I emailed Manager Pseudo asking to have a meeting, he ignored me. Even though the delivery of the neck was approaching. Product production was progressing smoothly. Manager Fuji hardly showed up during that time. I was worried that I might be a nuisance, but I really wanted to talk to him, so I came to LMA without an appointment. Manager Pseudo was in the office, eating snacks and talking loudly to the person sitting next to me. I thought that I might be able to talk to him now, so I explained the situation and asked him to let me into his car. I'm busy too. You should have let me know in advance. Please give me 30 minutes, as you haven't replied to my emails. The manager sighed heavily as he led me to the conference room. I proposed a neck experience event based on the idea my ex-boyfriend had given me. What, you want us to pay more money? No, it's impossible as a joint venture. With those words, it was rejected. I thought it was a good proposal, but if it doesn't work, there's nothing I can do. Wonderful Kids also holds events regularly, so I'll try proposing it again at our company then. I changed my mind and left LM. A few days later, 3 billion yen worth of necks were finally completed. I was looking forward to the day when they would be sold nationwide. I was working on the product the day before delivery when I got a call from Manager Pseudo. He said he didn't want any of them, so cancel them. What do you mean? They're already finished. Please remove all the ones from the factory. They'll probably sell anyway. How should I tell all the staff who are working hard on the inspections? The employees of Wonderful Kids and President Katayama were happy. So, since the 3 billion yen was cancelled, they're definitely not going to pay. I thought I couldn't handle this on my own, so I hurried back to Wonderful Kids. When I consulted everyone in the development department, they were angry and said that it was against the rules and that I had no common sense. However, the cancellation was not cancelled, and I received a message from Manager Sudo as soon as possible telling me to remove the products. The next morning, I went to the LM factory, apologized to all the staff, and started removing the goods. Manager Sudo watched me work. I'm sorry. Is the cancellation a change of president? Well, Manager Sudo became less talkative. Then, President Katayama of Wonderful Kids suddenly appeared. Even though the transaction was already over. Nice to meet you. I'm Katayama, the president of Wonderful Kids. I felt the backs of all the staff at the factory straighten up. President Katayama really does have an aura. Are you Mr. Sudo? Yes. They suddenly asked me if I had cancelled the products. Can I hear the reason for it, just for reference? Mr. Sudo looked troubled and said he couldn't answer. I'm sure President Katayama was disappointed that the 3 billion yen transaction had been cancelled. President Katayama replied, I see, and approached me. I was filled with fear and a sense of guilt. All the products that are to be collected separately must be delivered to Sato's factory.
My factory?
What on earth are you talking about? Sato was selected for the annual Independence Support Program. So we are giving you a construction project as a present to support your independence. I still can't wrap my head around it. I believe Wonderful Kids has an independence support program where employees who apply once a year are selected and given a generous amount of support from the president. Those who receive this support can work mainly on their own business while staying with the company for a year, and after the program ends, there is a nearly 100% chance that they will start their own business, but I didn't apply. Everyone in the development department recommended Sato. The problem is that it's a great product. When everyone said how impressed I was, Manager Sudo said with a look of regret that I was exaggerating. I'll tell President Kazaki myself. I'll tell him that I look forward to working with you in the future. Oh, you don't have to go that far. We often go out for drinks. When I told him about the problem, he responded. Well, why did he cancel? President Katayama looked into Director Sudo's face with a smile. Director Sudo, sweating from the Haka price, left saying he had another job to do. After that, President Katayama explained the Independence Support Program. The office is equipped with the latest facilities and even has my own office. I will be working at the company for another year while starting my own company. I have no right to do that after failing a 3 billion yen deal. Perhaps my complicated feelings were showing on my face, but President Katayama gently patted me on the shoulder and told me to get over it. He encouraged me by saying that it was not Director Sudo who would create the future, but the children who wore the neck. That's right. I was always trying to read Director Sudo's mood with this big project, but the neck was developed for the children, not for Director Sudo. I was worried about how to sell the large number of necks that had been removed. I stayed in the new office to think about it. I never imagined that I would suddenly be setting up my own factory. You never know what will happen in life. Then the phone rang from Na. I hadn't told him yet that 3 billion yen worth of unpaid bills had disappeared. I'm sorry. Actually, I have 20 billion yen. Oh, I'll buy the neck. Apparently Nagi had originally intended to buy the neck once the deal with LM settled down. The problem of smartphone neck is also big overseas, and smartphone neck has a negative impact on children's mental health. That's why we want to distribute the tablets to children who use them while expanding them to the world. That's right. Actually, the LM admissions were cancelled. I'm embarrassed because I called you so happily. Don't be so depressed. That means you have the 3 billion yen worth of necks you made on hand. Send them to me right away. Nagi is my savior. Furthermore, Nagi paid me 20 billion yen in advance the next day, so I immediately recruited new staff and mass-produced the necks. It looks like I can somehow make up for the 3 billion yen. And now that I've been selected for the independent support program, I have to take action to succeed in the company. Although it didn't go over well with the head of the prefectural road department, I decided to hold the event that May had suggested. It looks like I can plan a luxurious event with the profits from the 20 billion yen. I'll have a meeting with Ma at home. First, let's do a smartphone neck test for free. I see. It might be nice to be able to design a stylish forced belt yourself. Before coming up with ideas one after another, it seems that he had been taking notes on ideas that he had come up with himself after talking about the event the other day. He seems like he will become an adult who is much more capable at work than me. We also need content that makes people want to post on SNS. May opens his smartphone and shows me examples one after another. After the meeting was over and May went to bed, I went back to my computer to create materials. The day of the event. We only had 2 weeks, but somehow it took shape. We rented out a shopping mall plaza and held a smartphone neck test, in my belt design workshop, and a parenting talk show with Morisawa on stage. Na also came from America. It's been a while since we last saw each other. You're starting to look like Mai-chan and the others. Na knows that May is the one with the looks, but she always says that we talk and act alike. Mai, who came to help with the event, seems to be waiting for her best friend. Ah, there she is. Next. May runs off. Now that I think about it, I've never met my best friend before. I followed Ma to say hello, and there was manager Sudo. Mai, I came with Pa and Mama today. Manager Sudo has a bunch of shopping bags slung over his shoulder. I didn't hear you'd be here. I was planning to come by myself after I finished shopping. Manager Sudo doesn't have any children, does he? A relative's daughter? A friend's child? Then Tsugi-chan gives me a lesson, saying, "This is Tsugi Sudo. I've been on good terms with May." It seems she doesn't know that Manager Sudo and I are acquaintances. Apparently, she only heard from me that her parents were having an event and asked me to come. Since we're here, let's go and check out Pa and Mama too. Wait a minute. Tomo-kun is coming? Tomo-kun is a video creator who's popular with female students these days. I was told to definitely invite him before, so I scheduled the event. He's also scheduled to appear in a web commercial for Neck Neck. I asked my dad because I love Tasuki. Ma's dad is amazing. Tasugi-chan thanks me with sparkling eyes. Tasugi-chan's mom is also looking at the Neck Neck sales corner with great interest. Manager Sudo looks uncomfortable. He's carrying a lot of women's brand shopping bags, and they look heavy. I'm
Going home. Oh, it's the room. If you buy Neck Neck, you can get Tomo-kun's autograph, right? Buy it. You wouldn't want to pay for a product that LM has counseled out of your own pocket. It's a waste of money.
Dad is the worst. Ah, I wish I had a kind and nice dad like my previous father. Then, Director Sudo throws his luggage on the floor and says, "This is the guy you're talking about when you say non-blood related friend, right? He doesn't look like him, does he?" In a tone of understanding. He's kind because he's not blood related. Real parents and children are stricter. The family who attended the event is watching us do something terrible in front of May. Director Sudo has nothing to do with it. Please leave as it's a nuisance to the people around you. On the contrary, is that the right attitude?
Director Fuji is getting heated up. Then Tasugi's mother comes in cheerfully carrying a shopping bag with Neck Neck. She says she bought 2. Can you sign these? Thanks, Mom.
Director
Sudo's
anger is getting the better of the two of them, and their excitement is high. Is it because Director Sudo is in a bad position at home that he's venting his frustrations outside? Such fraudulent products will soon become unsellable, the director said, wearing venom as he tried to leave. Tasugi-chan said she didn't want to go home yet. As Director Sudo was about to leave the venue, leaving his family behind, 2 men dressed in expensive suits approached. Isn't that Sudo? They're President Kazaki and President Katayama of LM. I'd always wanted to meet President Kazaki since I first heard that he liked Neck. His slender height, his mustache with a certain charm, and his low, sexy voice. I was a little disappointed that I hadn't been recognized by such an admired president. But why was the president of LM here? I'd never greeted him while I was working with LM. Despite my doubts, President Katayama introduced me to President Kazaki. Mr. Kazaki, this is Sato. I'm glad you're here. President Kazaki looks dark. I wonder why he's here when Neck was cancelled. Hey, Sudo. He suddenly calls out to Director Sudo in a deep voice. What have you done? Canceling the Neck without permission. According to President Ozaki, Department Head Sudo cancelled the Neck on his own initiative. Apparently, when the delivery date came and President Ozaki checked in the car, he realized that the decision had been made without permission. Why did you cancel the deal without permission? He made a surprising statement, because I wanted to make the Neck a product of LM. Department Head Sudo had obtained a very expensive document from the factory that described how to make the Neck. He was planning to make some changes to the design and construction to make it something developed by LM. This is because the selling price of the Neck is low compared to the production cost at the factory, and the profit margin is low, so the price is set so that any household can use it, and the seller will not make a large profit. That's why department head Pseudo thought of making a new neck at LM and selling it to schools. The cram school run by LM attracts children from the poor. He probably wanted to target them with a high price. If they make a similar product, I don't think there's any problem. In that case, I'll file a claim for damages. Department head Pseudo doesn't know that I have a patent for the neck. Even if he knew, he wouldn't have copied it. But I'm shocked that he had such unscrupulous ideas. Well, that's fine. You're no longer an employee of LM. You're fired? Of course. Manager Michi begs on his knees, crying, that's all he can do. Then President Kazaki says he has a condition. If you sell 20 billion yen worth of our teaching materials to Tomo, I'll consider it. 20 billion yen. That's too much money. Who on earth cancelled a deal worth 3 billion yen without permission? I heard that Sato received an offer for 20 billion yen on the first day after his factory opened. Manager Pseudo is shocked and stunned by the 20 billion yen offer. Manager Kazaki sighs in exasperation. Manager Mayato personally doesn't like the idea of being fired, so he turns down the 3 billion yen offer. Not knowing how many people were involved in this product, Manager Pseudo says he's quitting LM and leaves. I look at him, wondering if he did something terrible in front of Tsugi-chan and the others, but he seems to be absorbed in taking a Polaroid photo with you. I'm sorry, Tsugi-chan. It's Dad's fault, and I'm so happy to be taking a photo with Tomo-kun. This is reality. I'm surprised that high school girls these days are so mature. President Ozaki bowed his head and asked if they would do business with us again. Please raise your head. I would be happy to do business with you again. As a result, LM placed an order worth 5 billion yen with NEC. It's reassuring that President Ozaki will be dealing directly with them. The event ended with great success. Many families gathered thanks to Mainu idea. I've had a hard time since meeting director Pseudo. When I got home, I fell asleep as if I was being sucked into bed. When I woke up, my wife had prepared a sumptuous meal for me, saying thank you for your hard work. You're the best father. You were the best daughter before. You're going to become a career woman. My dream for the future is to work with my father. Tears flowed and the food tasted salty. That night, the whole family watched a movie for the first time in a while. A year later, Director Pseudo for the first time in a while at the previous sports day. No, I met Mr. Pseudo again. As usual, he's carrying a heavy load and his brow is furrowed. Apparently, he's working as a water delivery person for a water server since he left LM. How are you, Do-san? It was Pseudo-san who went through hell with the cancellation of the 3 billion yen entrance exam, not me. Oh, Sato-san, I'm sorry about that time. Fuji-san bows his head without looking me in the eye. He was so happy that the hair was on the neck, and the neck was so effective. My head is full of complaints about Pseudo-san, but when he says that, I can't say them out loud. I have to focus on my daughter's sports day instead. At the end of the sports day, there was a father's history showdown. I wasn't chosen, but Pseudo-san was chosen and he fell and sprained his ankle while trying his best. I feel bad for Pseudo-san, but that made me feel a little better. I retired from Sandful Kids and now make necks at my own factory while developing new products. I go to America once every 6 months to talk business with Nagi. Mai and my wife also come with me there as part of the trip. If I hadn't become independent, I probably wouldn't have been able to secure time to spend with my family while working. But there's nothing I can do on my own. It's only because of the support of those around me that NEC has been able to spread awareness to this extent. Let's live our dreams straight so that we can meet the expectations of everyone in the development department, President Katayama.